Don't Be Dumb is better than you think. Do you know why I say that? Expectations are the thief of enjoyment. And you know what? You can blame that on A$AP Rocky for waiting 8 whole years to drop this album. But I promise you, no album will ever live up to the expectations placed on it like this. Clips is a rare example, and that had way less mainstream expectation. It's an exception to the rule. This is why I'm silently worried about the eventual Frank Ocean album. I just know the whole timeline will be full of people saying, we waited 12 years for this? It's inevitable. No album can thrive when this much weight is on the shoulders of the artist. I mean, Rocky has been teasing the album for like 6 years. That's an issue that he created. But it's undeniable that people's opinions will be skewed, at least on first listen, so we should give it time to settle with the audience before really deciding on how the public feels about Don't Be Dumb. To put it into perspective, Testing came out in 2018, an album that I love by the way. But I was 16 years old, a week into a fresh relationship. I'm now almost 25, engaged to that same woman, looking to buy a house together. That's how long I've been waiting for this album. But let's actually speak about Don't Be Dumb, because so far the public reception has been mixed, to put it politely. In fact, I'm seeing a lot more negative reviews than anything else. My first thoughts after listening was, this sounds like a more polished version of Testing. And well, that's obviously going to be the case after 8 years of waiting. But it's similar in the lack of cohesion. Not necessarily in a bad way, but more so in the blend of the genres and attempts at different sounds, and I actually think you might pull it off better here. In terms of lyrical content, I mean, it's nothing special. He dives a little bit into family life and his relationship with Rihanna, but not really anything that could be considered a through line. But I'm not going into an A$AP Rocky album expecting some deep, profound story writing or anything. I'm there for how it sounds, and I tell you what, to me, it sounds amazing. The intro starts with this melodic refrain and a beat that builds with these eerie gospel vocals buried in the background, and it explodes at the halfway point. Rocky explains where he's been and speaks braggadociously. Do I think it's as good as some of his other intros like Holy Ghost? No, but I think it opens up the album perfectly fine. Gas up from a fucking nap clutch. What the fuck was that? Helicopter was a lead single, and I think it was a slightly strange choice because it does sound a little similar to a lot of the other singles that didn't actually end up making the album. But it's a good track. Rocky's flow never fails, and with this drive and trap beat, it creates a pretty enjoyable track. And it also has the best music video I've seen in a long time, which even if you don't enjoy Rocky's music, it's impossible to deny how refreshing he is when it comes to the importance of visuals in his music. I think Stole Your Flow is the first true highlight on the album though, with this catchy refrain of first you stole my flow, so I stole your bitch. That rings throughout the track. Obviously it's a response to Drake and the things he said on Family Matters, but the energy on this song is incredible. It's a real head nodder. He flexes his influence on music, and overall, just a pretty insane track. First you stole my flow, so I stole your bitch. I can't trust a soul, just my pole and my kids. And the highlights continue with Stay Here for Life, which revolves itself around Brent Faiyaz's Full Moon vocals, which in turn samples Ken Carson's Mewtwo. The song is gorgeous, to be honest, with a clear Memphis influence that has always been there with Rocky's music. I definitely think Brent's vocals are the driving force of the track, but Rocky does his thing. I wish that I could stay. Ain't enough bells on the clock. Got me looking down at my watch. The next two tracks are fine as well. Player runs with bass and vocals from Thundercat and is one of the more mellow tracks on Don't Be Dumb, and No Trespassing is driven by this West Coast beat that, to be honest, sounds tailor-made for Vince Staples. I wish we could have gotten that collab. Stop Snitching is another high point of the album with this hypnotizing and kick-heavy beat from Hit Kid and a stellar feature from Sauce Walker. It's another to-be-expected flexing track from Rocky, but it works really well in the track list. Drop top ends with all my pendants. Middle finger up, never pointing with my ending. STFU is definitely the most controversial track on the album. It's dividing a lot of opinions. It has a clear hyper-pop influence with grunge elements, and it's one of the more experimental tracks that Rocky has ever made. It actually sounds Cherry Bomb-esque, but executed much better. At first I wasn't sure, but after a few listens, I'm loving this song.
Hit 200 on a bridge, screaming, catch me if you can. Mama, I'm not coming home.
Punk Rocky was another lead single that divided opinion. A lot of people are hating it because of the similarities it shares with Sundress, but I think Rocky does this sound justice with the lo-fi instrumental and lead and guitars. It is one of the main tracks that carries out the love and relationship narrative of Don't Be Dumb, and I think it's excellent. Black DeMarco is another standout in the track list. The verses are these rapid flows over this noisy and chaotic beat, but then switches when the hooks come into this ethereal backdrop with some gorgeous background vocals from Spencer Sutherland. This is one of the tracks that wouldn't feel out of place on an album like Testing, but once again, just sounds a bit more polished. Whiskey is a letdown for me, not because it's bad, but the fact Westside Gunn was so underutilised. He deserved a verse here. The track is melancholic at first, Rocky has this sleepy flow, with some fun lines like got me feeling nice, time to kill the lights, she like it in the dungeon, now Killer Mike, and the inclusion of Damon Albarn of Gorillaz and Blair fame is just the cherry on top.
How could I resist? Wanna get high as we could get, and that's how we exist.
Robbery has people annoyed, and I think it's mainly because of Doshi, and at this point I'm not sure what she can do to win people over. The whole concept of the song is Rocky and Doshi having a conversation back and forth, while at a jazz club you've got horns and keys ringing in the background. Is it something you'd ever listen to outside of the context of the album? Absolutely not. But the song is fine. They both bring confident energies, and honestly, this song is already overhated. It's a we cry together situation. The title track had me levitating, and you just know it had to be a Clams Casino beat. Wow, what a song, man. This song had me thinking that 8 years wait was worth it. Clams just deserves so much more flowers for his contribution to music. Sampling Clairo too. Yeah, this is unbelievable and currently my favourite song on Don't Be Dumb. It's basically a love letter to Rihanna, with him saying he'd give up everything materialistic, fame, money, just to stay in her good graces. It's beautiful. The second half of the track, Trick Baby, is very different. We get this switch to a higher tempo Harry Fraud beat, with Rocky moving to a much more cynical tone and aggressive delivery. It feels like it could be its own song, a bit more fleshed out, but it's a great addition to the record.
Trips, roll the 456, baby. 100 G's on the lick, baby. Bet on me for the win.
The End is the final song on the original tracklist and has fucking will.i.am of all people dropping a verse. The refrains of This Is the Way the World Ends from Rocky and Jessica Pratt really make the song here. It's a relatively eerie track as well that touches on religion, family, institutionalism. Rocky never misses with his outros, and this was a beautiful way to round off, in my opinion, a really solid album. The two bonus tracks are fine, I guess, but I can see why they were left off the original track list. SWAT Team has this menacing trap beat, which Rocky flows effortlessly over, and Fish and Steaks sees Tyler and Rocky reunite for another southern influenced track. It's fine, but once again doesn't add too much to the album. So what is the point of this video? I just think expectations are the killer of enjoyment, and while a lot of the timeline is hating on Don't Be Dumb, I think it's important we give it time to breathe. I mean, look at the treatment that whole lot of Red gets nowadays, or even Testing. A lot of people have come around to appreciate the brilliance of that record. 8 years of waiting will always leave you disappointed. It will always be the case, and that's why I'm setting my expectations low for if Jay-Z or Frank Ocean ever release new material, because then I can just enjoy it in the moment without comparison. Does Don't Be Dumb feel as cohesive as a At Long Last ASAP? Well, no, but the range of sounds and genres that Rocky attempts on this album is amazing, and I'd argue the majority of tracks were executed at a really high level. I'm not sure what people were expecting, but Don't Be Dumb delivered for me personally. What a great return to form for ASAP Rocky. And once again, as with every Rocky album, the visual and art designs for this record are stunning, even the Tim Burton cover, and it's so refreshing compared to a lot of the boring music videos or even half-assed album covers we get nowadays. Anyway, that was just a quick video on why I enjoy Don't Be Dumb. You should let me know how you feel about Don't Be Dumb in the comments below. Was it worth the 8-year wait? What songs do you like? What songs don't you like? Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.